こんにちは、皆さん、スワナです。このチャンネルでは自分の海外暮らし、言語学、あと心理学、ポジティブな考え方についての動画を配信しています。でも今日の本題は日本語の勉強方法についてなんですよ。なんでかというと、自分が日本で暮らし始めた時前からずっとこのチャンネルに登録してくれていた人がよく自分がどんな風に日本語を勉強したとか、どんな風に自信を持って話せるようになったかっていうような質問したりしていますよね。で、自分がよくコメントとかを読んだりすることにしてるんですけれども、みんなの猛烈な好奇心に応えられた動画を今まで作ったことないんですよね。もちろんその日本語大好きみたいな動画はあるんですけれども、その中で自分がどんな風に具体的に日本語を勉強して生活の一部にしてるのかっていうのを解決したことないんですよね。なのでそれをちょっと答えながら自分のルーティンを紹介してみたいなと思っています。でももちろんみんなにちょっと覚えてほしいなと思っているのは、言語学ペレペレになる言語の学びなんて、その習い事自体は本当に一日にしてならずのことだからこそ、みんなの動画とかを見て、その正しい勉強方法は何なのか、近道はどんな感じなのかっていうような焦りの目で見たりするんじゃなくて、みんなの動画を見て、どういうふうにこの人のルーティンを自分の生活にちょっと取り上げられるのか、どういうふうにそのルーティン、いいなと思ったルーティンに基づいて自分に合う新しい勉強方法を作れるのかっていうような創造的な目で見た方がいいと思っています。なんでかというと、その正しい勉強方法なんて本当にないんですよ。みんなはそれぞれで、みんなの生活リズムは違うので、絶対に朝から晩までこれをやった方がいいとか、こういうちょっと硬い勉強方法をこういう同じ風にやんないと何にも進めないみたいな厳しさはないんですよ。本当に自分が気持ちよく勉強できるように、みんなの動画を、いろんな人の動画を見て、自分に合う、これがいいかもと思ったところをどんどん取り上げてみてください。実感にかけて自分がどんだけ変わったかっていうことを振り返ってみると、やっぱり自分の気分、モチベーション、目的がとっても大切だったなと思います。それに合わせて私の勉強スタイルがどんどん変わったことがありますので、この動画を見ることでインスピレーションを与えられるんだったら本当に嬉しいですよね。嬉しいです。みんなの改善を応援してますので、もちろんちょっと取り上げたいかもと思うところがありましたら、コメント欄に書いてください。みんなの意見を聞くのを本当に楽しみにしています。ありがとうございます。では、始めましょう。Okay, everyone. So, how do I study Japanese? Yes, this is something that has been asked by a lot of different people. So I figured I will go ahead and share with you guys my method for studying Japanese. Now, it's very, very simple. I like to make sure that I hit all of the 4 domains of language, which are speaking, writing, listening, and reading. My study method has changed throughout the years. So at first, my study method when I would say, a beginner, was every day learn a new word and write it down. I had the habit of collecting all of the words into notebooks and all types of things that would eventually pile up, right? But that was my way of making sure that I was getting the vocabulary that I needed. I also liked using websites that I will have in the description box below that were great for grammar. And I had a lot of pen pals. I used to use this website called japanguide.com. They used to have some pen pal type of function where you can find people to talk to. And through that app and through that website, I was able to meet around 2, 3, 4 friends that I spoke to for a very, very long time. That was how I hit a lot of those domains. My reading at the time was primarily messages, right? Like me sending a message to someone, them sending a message to me. It was not super intentional. I didn't spend a lot of time on kanji, and that leads me to my next piece. So I'll say 5 years into it, I started to get more confidence. I was able to talk to more people in Japanese without thinking, and my study habits changed along with it. So I'll go, let's say, into the more intermediate side of things. I started doing a lot more intentional practice when it came to kanji. I used to write down my words and now make example sentences. And then I stopped collecting all of the vocabulary in notebooks. I started using an app called Anki, which is great for repetitive review, which is great for all levels, actually. Imagine flashcards that you create that come up right before you forget the word. And there's science behind this and everything like that, but right before you forget the word, it brings up the flashcard again so that it stays in your memory. And at first, during this time, I would just use it to review. Okay, here's this word, not gonna think too much about it. And I would just go through my flashcards of the day, do the kanji, write, and listen to a lot of Japanese YouTube. But then again, my study habits started to change. And now we have my most current study habit. Right now, I am using this journal right here. It's technically a calendar like your normal everyday planner, but I use this specifically for my vocabulary from podcasts and my listening. Let's say I pick 2 or 3 podcasts that I really, really love, and I'll listen to them on repeat all week. I cycle through them. I pick out all the words that I think are interesting that I want to learn personally, and I write them down in this notebook. It's kind of insane. So I write them down in this notebook, and for that week, I'm listening to those same words over and over again. And the idea is that I get it in my head, and I also use the video as shadowing practice. So I'm listening to the words, and then I'm doing shadowing where, let's say they talk, I pause it, and then I repeat after them. So I'm also practicing my pronunciation. It's a lot more intentional, and because I'm using the same videos throughout the week, I get a lot of exposure to the words, and it's easier for me to understand or memorize, I say, would be a better word, to remember, yeah. When it comes to reading, I love looking up articles online, or even asking ChatGPT to make an article for me using the words that I used from the podcast, right? So I'll get those words, and then I'll put it in chat, and then I'll ask ChatGPT to make like some article about some topic that I'm actually interested in using the words, and it'll come up with something. The thing is, you want to be a little careful with that though, because it could be unnatural sounding. So I try to stay away from that. I usually use organic articles about things that I'm interested in, and then go from there. But they're both great methods for just practicing your reading and things like that. Then, of course, speaking, it's different now for me. Like now I live in Japan, and now I work in Japanese. I have friends in Japanese. I go to the bank in Japanese. And so now I don't have to be super intentional about the speaking, and that's why my energy kind of focused onto the other 3 parts of language learning. But what's the point of all this, right? I tell you how my studies have changed over the years because you have to know that being adaptable is key, right? You're not always going to have the same schedule. You're not always going to have the same amount of resources and be in the same types of circumstances. And that's why when you're doing your studying, you want to make sure that how you study fits your life, you feel comfortable, And you're changing when you feel like you're not making the types of progress that you want to see. In the beginning, I was like, look, let me get this grammar down, let me get this down. If I can have a conversation, fine. And then it changed to having more vocabulary, so I started focusing on more vocab, right? And my listening was great, but I was kind of focused more on how do I make my vocabulary learning more efficient. And that's when I started using Anki. And now I'm really focused on listening. I'm really focusing on using native-like expressions. And so a lot of my focus or study is centered around podcasts and listening and reusing the words that I'm hearing through those interactions. And of course, my natural encounters with Japanese that I have on a daily basis. So be flexible. Make sure you're picking something that fits you and not just something that you heard from someone on YouTube. Or YouTube, Instagram, whatever. You know what is fun for you. You know what you want to focus on. So just make sure that it's something that you can dedicate yourself to and then go from there. But of course, I wanted to also make this video in English because the people that are learning Japanese are not, I just felt like it would be easier to make this video in English. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this inspires some of you to continue your studies. And please let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about my Japanese journey. And let me know if you also want to join our study groups. I have a free study group that I offer every week on Friday, and not on Fridays, on Wednesdays, 6:30 Japan time. So if you're interested in joining that, please let me know. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys for listening to the end, and I hope this was helpful. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all soon.